Hey, what's up, family? Thank you so much for tuning in today. I have been inspired to speak about this message. So, I'm going to talk about living a life on purpose. And what got me motivated to speak about this is I lost a friend of mine. She passed away a couple of weeks ago, and her funeral was this past Saturday. And when I went to the funeral, there were so many people there. But it wasn't about the number of people that showed up as much as it was about what people said. What people said about her was absolutely spot on and true. And I learned things about her that I had never known. And as I sat there and I listened to them and I thought about the times that I spent with her, I just became so inspired. And I thought about like, how can I leave a mark like that? Like, am I living a life on purpose? And what does that even mean? And so I wanted to share a few things with you, just a few thoughts that I have is the first aspect I believe of living a life on purpose is living a life that's not just about you. It has to be about more than just you. It's got to be bigger, than that. There are different things that inspire and motivate each one of us to get up and do the things that we do, but the impact that you leave is the legacy. It really is. And it's the reason why we're here, is to influence other people. And when we leave this earth in our absence, we should continue to do that. So, I talk about Jesus a lot and how he knew that there came a point in time where he needed to leave. He needed to break free of that flesh and leave this earth because he said, in my absence, you will be great. And that was his legacy. And when you leave this earth, what will you leave behind? What will people say about you? When people think about you, what do they think about? What do they associate you with? My identity has shifted tremendously in the last year for a lot of reasons. One, mainly because of some health issues, but it started from loss. It's just been incredible loss that I have endured, and also like secondary loss that other people have endured. Every time I talk to someone, it feels like they've lost someone or something that meant a lot to them. So it's really been tough. But the good news is I've allowed it to change me. I didn't allow it to destroy me. I allowed that pain to help me push through so that I can see another side of myself and obviously see another aspect of God. And so that's where my identity shift really came from. So before, I don't know. If you ask people, when you think about Stacy, what do you think about? I don't know what people would have said. Maybe they would say, oh, she has a nice smile. I've heard that a lot. Maybe some people would say basketball. They knew me like back in the day. Maybe some people would say food because I like to cook. Maybe some people would say the club because she liked to hang out. I don't know. I don't know what people would say. I know what people would say today. Most people who really, really know me would say that I'm a woman of faith. I live a life that is led by God and led by Jesus. And that is the number one priority in my life right now. And it's also shining his light on others and helping bringing people closer to him too. Ministry. So that is a big shift because that's probably not what people would have said a year ago or 2 years ago. And it's something that is new for me, but it's something that I'm very, very proud of. So at the end of the day, when you lay your head down at night, think about that and make it count. Make it count. It's not about doing a lot of things and accomplishing a lot of things. That's not what purpose is. That's not God's design. It's how you make people feel. It's the impact of your life, even if it's just one person. If you can help change the course of one person's life, you have changed the world. Because we're all connected and we're all one. And when you think about living a life on purpose, I don't want you to get caught up in what's happening in your life right now. Maybe you're having some tough times, some circumstances. Maybe you had disappointment, failure, loss, challenges, change, whatever those things are. Like life is lifing for all of us. But I don't want you to get caught up in that, feeling like you don't have something to offer because it's different for you right now. Some people feel like they're broken. I've had that feeling. I still have that feeling from time to time, depending on what it is. And I listened to Caroline Myss today, and she was talking about a broken heart, but this could be anything that's broken. It could be your finances, your family, your health, your heart, your anything, your church, your community. And she said, when something is broken, it's not about putting it back together again. It's about nurturing what's left. It's about saving what's left. And I think about this a lot, especially with my family, because we've had tremendous loss. And when you have a big family, it seems like the loss comes in like a flood. And you can't even catch your breath sometimes. And then you start to become traumatized because you're just looking around like, who's going to be next? It can be very overwhelming because so much is changing so fast. And meanwhile, we are really trying to remain, like we're trying to hold on to that past identity and who we were. Because a lot of times we associate our purpose with that. That kind of defines who we feel we should be. And when we're anything less than that, we feel like we're off or we're lost, and that's not true. We're just different now. Those pieces are broken, but they're still there, for a lot of us, even if it's in a physical form or a spiritual form. And it's how do you take advantage of what's left and use it, in your life. I believe it was Michael Beckwith who said, when you think about your life and you think about circumstances, he said, if it's something that you can't escape and you just can't change it, there's so many things in life that will happen that are just out of our control. Can't do anything about it. He said, we have to ask ourselves different questions. Instead of saying, why is this happening? When is this going to end? What did I do to deserve this? We all ask those questions. He said to shift it. So now you say, if this is how it's going to be, if this is what my health is going to look like, if this is what my finances are going to look like, if this is what my relationship status, #single, is going to be, if this is what my family dynamic looks like, if this is where I'm going to have to live, if this is what I'm driving, whatever it is, this is where I have to work. If this is how it's going to be, what do I need to survive it? And not just to survive it, but to thrive in it. That's living a life of purpose. Because it's not sitting here and crying and complaining and harping about how it used to be and what it was like and how come, you look different, situations changing, people. It's not about that. It's about, this is the reality of the situation right now. And I have to move now into, move out of resistance and into acceptance. I'm going to accept this for what it is right now. And I'm going to take my power back. I'm going to shift it now. to say, how can I thrive in this? What can I do every single day? Even if it's just a perspective, a mindset that shifts. If how you change, how you look at a situation changes, that situation has to change because you're looking at it differently. And progress is going to look different in a lot of different ways, but it does start with how I see it. So going back to what he said was, what do I need to survive? What do I need to thrive in it? Like, come up with solutions. And that's how we shift the narrative. That's where the power comes from. And that's when we get to do amazing things with God, of course. God's will allow us to do more with what we have than what we ever thought was possible. You already heard me say this time and time again, is that we serve a God of exceptions. We serve a God who is a rule breaker. We serve a God who does things that we can't even explain. He's a miracle worker. He's a way maker. That's what he does. And we know that he can do it. And we trust that. So be okay with where you are in your life right now. But ask yourself, am I living my life on purpose? Am I taking time in my day to not just be about me all the time, but really being present, really being mindful, and asking yourself, of course, what it is that you need, but what is it that other people might need? How can you help and how can you serve? So my friend who passed away, when I think about all the things that she did in her life and a lot of the stuff she did when she was sick. And I'm not talking about runny nose, sore throat sick. I'm talking about getting up, fighting for your life, and wondering if you're going to make it through the day sick. But she locked in on something. She moved from one space and one realm into another. And that's what God is calling us to do. That's what he wants us to do. He wants us to let go of our intention and our way. He wants us to let go of our ego and our pride. And he wants us to be about him. He wants us to be about his mission and his work. He wants us to be about the kingdom. And you all can define what that really means and what that really looks like for you in your life. But it's all about living a life intentionally, living a life of service, leaving a mark behind, and leaving a path that other people can now follow. It really is about inspiring someone else. When I sat there at her service, I said, that's what life is all about. Does your life inspire somebody else to live theirs? So I pray that this was a blessing to you. If you feel like you are struggling and you're not living the life that God has called you to live, I hate to break it to you, but you're wrong. You are living the life that God has designed. Whatever path, you're never on the wrong path. God can use one thing, take one thing and turn it into another. That's what he does. Anything that is used against you for evil or is making life hard for you, I promise you, God is working that together for your good. He is. He has a plan. And what you're going through in your life right now is a part of that plan. But he also wants to renew you and to renew us. And sometimes that means that we go down a different path or we do it a different way. So I pray that this blesses you. Continue to live your life on purpose, and do the absolute best that you can every single day. God bless.